Hello again. I just came up here because at the meeting the other night for the council, the Fall Frolic is going to be here. We have confirmed the reservation. And, okay, it's not up there yet, but it is October the 25th. Yes, so we have confirmed. Oh, and come on. Is that spray paint? What is that? Why would you do that? I mean, like, really, why would you do that? Anyway, yeah. So, I'm making this video because it's later in the evening, and like I said the last time, my honey has been working the same schedule I'm on, so it makes it hard to get out and go anywhere, travel anywhere. But, you know, hey, this is right in my backyard, so I can always come here. But today, I wanted to talk to you while I'm walking. I was thinking back, in one of my last videos, I had mentioned that I used to work at a convenience store. And I worked there for a few years, and that got me thinking, why don't I talk about, you know, what I did? And this is totally my opinion, but I do believe it's the right opinion, of course. And before I start telling you my opinion that I believe is right, I'm not trying to bash anybody. I'm not trying to degrade anybody. Everybody's choice is their own. But here is how my life went. I started working when I was 14 years old. I was working after school for an attorney. I was what you would call a gopher. I would go for things. I would run things to different places. I would tidy up the office. I would file paperwork, stuff like that. After that, I worked for a library, and I checked books out to people. After that, I worked at a vet's office, a veterinarian, not a veteran, but a veterinarian's office. I worked there for about 2 years. After that, I went to work for this older gentleman who was disabled, and I would stay with him at night. After that, I was working for a railroad company. I was the one who drove the engineer and the other person. Shoot, I can't even remember now. It's been so long ago. Anyway, I would drive them to meet the train, and when they switched teams, I would drive them back to the roundhouse. Yeah, that was, man, that was pretty good money. It wasn't all that, but it was, they call you in the middle of the night, you go, you've been awake for 24 hours because you've been on a trip, you get 10 minutes sleep, and they call you, you go. Yeah, so that got old really, really fast. Oh yeah, right before that, right before working with the railroad, I worked for a security company. And man, that was a hard job. You worked long hours. You made minimum wage. And it wasn't worth it. It was not worth it. To me, it wasn't worth it. Okay, then I worked for CSX. Then I worked at the store that I was telling you about. Oh yeah, somewhere in between there I worked at Family Dollar as an assistant manager. I worked there for a few years. And yeah, that was a hard job because you had to be putting up merchandise that had come in while you were waiting on customers. And if you left the front for just a minute, and I'm sure all of you who work for the dollar stores and stuff, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. You leave for 2 minutes to put something up, and people are, "Where are you? Ain't there nobody working here?" Anyway. So, I was working at the convenience store. The guy who owned the stores, he had 3 of them. He had one that was out next to the hospital. He had one that was there in the community I live in now, Loyal. And then he had another one that was all the way up in what they call Coal Bucket at Cold Iron. And for a while, I began out at the one next to the hospital, and that was the busiest. Then I went on the night shift at the Cold Iron store, and that was the store that always kept getting robbed all the time. Thank God I never did get robbed. Then life just goes so fast when you're on the night shift, and you sleep your days away, and you're working overtime. You're getting paid minimum wage, but you get a little bit of overtime. And anyway, so I said I would love to be on day shift again. So that's when I got put at the Loyal store. There was a lot happened at the Loyal store. There was a lady came in one day and threw something through the window and went on a rampage and tore the store apart, slung stuff off shelves. Anyway, so that happened, and then here again, you're working all the time, plus you're on call, because that's a high turnover job, and it's just, okay, so that's when in 2013, 2014, is when I started college. I never thought I would go to college. When I got out of high school, I thought, I want to make money. I just want a job. I want to work. Well, during that time, when I was working, and this in particular, I was working at one of the convenience stores, and it was a little slow that day, and this guy came in, and he was a veteran, and he was getting the money out of his wallet to pay for a Monster drink. And all of a sudden, he just broke down right there in front of me and started bawling. I mean, tears streaming down his face. And he composes himself and he says, "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry." He said, I don't know if I can take this anymore. He went on to say that his wife had left him and that his kids hate him and he has nothing. He has been a veteran. He is a veteran. Has nothing. And so it was getting time for me to change shifts. And so I told him, I said, hey, if you can just sit outside for just a minute, let's talk. And so I counted my drawer really quickly, and I got all my paperwork together, and we switched shifts. And I think that's probably the fastest I'd ever done it. I swear it didn't take me 10 minutes. And I went outside, we sat in my car, and we talked. And, sorry, thought I heard something in the woods up there. Whew. Just climbed a hill too. So, we sat in my car, and we talked. And I convinced him to go to the Veterans Hospital and, you know, get some help. Well, he did. Sorry, I keep hearing something over there in the woods. He did go to the Veterans Hospital. He did get help. And he called me after that, thanked me. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to become a counselor. I want to counsel people. I want to help people. Because I am an extremely empathetic person. I want to do this. I started out at Southeast Kentucky Community and Technical College on the Harlan campus. A lady by the name of Sherry Tinsley was my advisor, and she had also went through the counseling world. She was a graduate from Lindsey Wilson College of Professional Counseling, so she set me on the path. I got into college, and I loved it. It's not high school, people. It is not high school. Nothing like it. And then after I had taken, and I took mostly in-class classes, because, you know, hey, I'm old school. So then, after the first year, I started going to the Cumberland campus because they had more in-class classes that I needed and that I could take. So, in 2 years, I had an associate in arts and an associate in science. And let me tell you, people, I am not good at math. I thought that I would completely fail at algebra. I thought, oh Lord, what am I going to do? Have to take algebra. Guess what? I ended up with a final grade of a 96, an A in algebra. Yes, I did. And so after I finished there, I went to the satellite campus of Lindsey Wilson there at Cumberland. And the classes were, and I'm pretty sure they still are, Friday from 4 p.m. till 9 p.m. And then on Saturday from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. 16 months after I had began, which really you can't count that as 16 months because you get, starting Thanksgiving all the way up until January, the middle of January, before you start classes again. So within that 16-month period, I had a bachelor's degree. And at that point, I knew that I wanted to get a master's degree. So, and I was still wanting to counsel people. I thought I could help people. 2 years for the master's degree. It flew by. I made some really good friends. The cohort that I was with, because that's how they do that, they do it in cohorts, was like family. And we graduated in 2019. Yes, so all that time that I could have done this and didn't. Well, it was before I had graduated the master's program. I got a job. Okay, now by the end of the master's program, I decided that I did not want to be a counselor. I had seen the burnout rate. I was afraid that I would do something that would hurt somebody instead of helping, because my choice of theories and therapy was Gestalt therapy. And anyway, so I just decided, no, I'm not going into the counseling field, which the degree that I graduated with is a Master of Education. That opened up opportunities. I got a job. I'm still at that job. I've been at that job. I've been working for this company since 2015. And I don't get burnout. It's a good job. I have health benefits. I have paid vacation. And I just keep thinking that had I done this earlier, I could have started in this career a lot earlier. And I would be a lot further along. And please don't get me wrong. I'm not bragging. Not at all. I am grateful and I am humbled. I've had, hard times in my life. I've had such hard times to the point where if I had enough money to buy a pack of hamburger meat, I was flying. I was on cloud 9. And, yes, my parents helped me, but I'm an independent little, what. And, so I'm definitely not bragging. But that is how I have been able to take vacation every year. I have been to other countries. I have been to China. I have been to Myanmar. I've been a lot of places in the United States. And, not that long ago, I bought a house. And I just keep thinking, had I done this earlier, and I keep seeing all over social media where they're telling people not to go to college. They're telling these teenagers, do not go to college. It's a waste of time. Let me tell you what, it is not a waste of time. And they say that, let's say McDonald's, for instance. A job at McDonald's, that's just a stepping stone. Stepping stone to what? Then you get a job at a supermarket. You move up to management maybe at McDonald's. I don't understand their thinking, especially in a small town like Harlan. Or in a state like Kentucky. I've heard people say, get into the workforce. Okay, well, if you're going to be a nurse, you're going to have to take college classes. Well, go into welding. Well, buddy, you can't weld unless you know some math and have some math classes. Same thing with construction. And I'm just saying, college is the way to go. And, another thing people say is, oh yeah, be a coal miner. And I am not ragging on coal miners. I have coal miners in my family. I still have friends who are coal miners. Yes, coal mines, good job. It is. Well-paying job. Wonderful benefits. Yes, you have vacation time and stuff. But by the time, if you start working, like when I started working, let's not even go that far back. Let's say you start working 18, 19 years old. By the time you get as old as I am, you're broken down. You're almost past going when you work that physical labor like that. And yes, you have health benefits, but then the health problems. Black lung, can't breathe. And you know, my dad, he passed away August 2023, and he had never worked in the coal mines, not one day in his life. But he had lung cancer, and that's how he died. He couldn't breathe. And for a year and a half, no, I'll say 2 years, really, he was not able to breathe, and he would call me in the middle of the night, "Can you take me to the hospital? I can't breathe." And there were many nights when he thought he was dying, and I thought he was gone. So I'm just saying, you know, it don't matter how old you are, because you can always go back to college. I'll just go ahead and tell you, I will spill the beans. I will take off the mask. I went back to college when I was 34 years old. That's when I went back. Or that's when I went. I had never been, so it's not going back. But, yeah, I was 34 years old. And since then, I have seen people as old as... There was one lady who was 80 years old who was taking classes. And just being in college, taking the classes, opens up more opportunities. And I don't understand why people are so against college. So there's my spiel, there's my thing, there's my thoughts, that's my opinion, which I believe is right. But that, you know, some people, you may not be college material. You might not, you may hate it. And that may not be the thing for you. Okay? Okay. That's you. But I'm telling you, if you give it a shot, and you can do it, and you make it through, and you persist, and you keep your nose in the books, well, and on the computer, you can do it. And it gets a lot better than what I had it before. Let me tell you, it gets a lot better. So there it is. Yes, if you know somebody who's a teenager getting out of high school and they're talking about, "I just want to go to work. I just want to make some money." Oh, please, please, please. Tell them, work and go to college. You can also do that. I did that. But, yes, please, please, don't be one of those people who says that people shouldn't go to college. So that's it for me. That's my spiel. And it's getting late, so I'm gonna get home, get some dinner. And I will see you next time. Again, thank you for subscribing. And thank you for liking my videos, and thank you for sharing them out. And I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye.